Hey, Curtis.
Hey Oz,
What do you got to kick off a new month?
new month, new theme.
New theme.
This month's movie marriage for episode
Oh,
101.
yeah.
101. This week's movie marriage is the X-Men meets Castaway
Mm-hmm.
plus a pinch of the West Wing
Okay.
and a whole lot of I got a fever and the only prescription is more cowbell. This week we're watching The Dead Zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I pulled a lot of Castaway vibes, too. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been in my movie marriage had this been my week.
Yep.
The whole, oh, you were away and I went ahead and got married.
Yeah, and I've moved on with my life
Yeah.
because that's the natural thing to do.
But I do love you.
Yes.
Uh, and in both instances, like the woman's like looking around, like my husband's not around.
Johnny's not around.
Right. Glad you're back, Chris
Uh-huh.
slash Tom Hanks. Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Talk About Flicks, that weekly podcast where we take a monthly theme. New theme.
New theme, new month.
It's October, so we are kicking off a month of Stephen King movies.
Ooh.
Stephen King in the house. Steve,
I've actually seen Stephen King's house. Speaking of
I
Stephen
bet
King's
you
house.
have.
Yep. Lives up in Bangor, Maine. My in-laws have like an old family cabin that like goes back a couple generations. That's owned by like all of like my father-in-law and most of his siblings, and so and that's right outside Bangor. So
Okay.
yeah,
In Castle Rock, right?
yes, Castle Rock. It's all right there.
That's all right.
Fictional town of Castle Rock is there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's
Mm-hmm.
Augusta, Maine, the state capital,
Yes,
and then just Bangor and Castle Rock.
that's
the
it.
rest of
There's
Maine.
three. There's three communities in Maine, one of which is fictional.
Yeah, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is up to you to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dead Zone kicking off October,
Uh-huh.
kicking off Stephen King month. Stephen King.
It's him too.
Okay. No, I steal Stephen King. Not steal. I borrow. I've mentioned before, like I listen to Werewolf Ambulance out in
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, and they've got a running joke for like 8 years now of Stephen King. Like they'll,
Okay.
they'll talk about a movie that feels like it's influenced by Stephen King, and so they'll just reference. It's like, well, I bet Stephen King made this movie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. His
Right.
his,
movie
his
would have
cousin
been.
twice removed.
Yeah, his movie would have been like The Death Zone.
The dead area.
Right, Animal Cemetery. Caroline. But we're kicking off October. 4-weeker, that's okay
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
almost makes it tough because every other horror movie out there is a Stephen King adaptation.
Basically, so we had to whittle it down to four. We did pick four
I think
good
I
ones.
think we picked 4 fun ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we did.
and I think that they are a little older, not super
Mm-hmm.
old, but I feel that they're close to top shelf, or at least
Yeah, I think so.
pretty close. You know, you're
Yeah.
not gonna find you're not gonna find like a Dolores Claiborne in the mix.
No misery here.
No, The Dark Half with Timothy Hutton.
Yeah, and the first one. So
Oh, we shouldn't knock Misery. Misery was great.
no, misery was great. But yeah, I was just going as
Not
far
the-
as like
yeah.
the bigger names versus some of the lesser
Yes,
named
you
ones.
aren't going to catch the Tommyknockers or the Langoliers. We already covered Running Man.
We did. Yeah.
So can't do that again.
Nope. Can't do the Running Man again. I want to.
We do want to give a shout out before we get started, though, to
Yeah.
our Patreon subscribers, Don S, Aaron A, and ADK. Thank you. We wanted to make sure you got you in
Yeah.
episode 101.
Yeah, as we continue into the triple digit
right.
lifespan of our podcast here.
Kicking off
Well,
the second
yep.
century of film coverage.
Yeah, you blink and you miss it, and we'll be on 4 digits worth of
That's
podcast.
true. Episode 1000.
1,000.
On the road to 1,000.
in perpetuity.
Alrighty. Your movie this week. So I got the
Yep.
cast of characters.
Yeah, who's in the dead zone?
We've got Chris Walken as everybody's super specific name, John Smith. Johnny Smith. And his love interest, knockoff Karen Allen, played by Brooke Adams. She plays Sarah Bracknell. Those are your main two, really. Then we got a bunch of like very solid supporting cast, like Tom.
Yeah, we do.
Tom Skerritt's in this movie as the sheriff. You've got Herbert Loam as Dr. Sam Weizak of the Weizak Institute, where he just basically stands and watches you be in a coma until you wake up.
He was there. Wake up. He was right there.
We've got the Dodds. We've got Mark Sheen as Greg Stillson. We've got Chris Walken's parents, Sarah Sullivan and Jackie Burroughs as Vera. Really, this movie is Christopher Walken as Johnny Smith, and then whatever issue, and I say issue not in a problematic sense, but issue is in like a comic book, because I feel like every incident that he's a part of is very truncated and separate from the rest of them. So it's whichever characters pop up in those mixes.
It really is like a very, very clear 3-act story. It's almost like three short stories.
Yeah, really it is. That's how it feels, for sure.
Yep. And it's funny you mentioned you frame it like a comic book in issues. Again, X-Men was in my movie.
Which not for that reason, but it does. Yeah. It feels like there's nothing John Smith really does that overlaps. You know, he's not being pulled, which you'll get into in the plot. He's not being pulled several different directions at once. It's start down this path, finish it. Start down this path, finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sarah character is really the only piece that kind of overlaps amongst the stories.
Right. And then the Greg Stillson billboard.
Yeah, the omnipresent Greg Stillson billboard.
It was I think that scene where they went to McDonald's and that billboard was on the back of the McDonald's fry box. Like,
it was part of that. It was part of the Happy Meal that he got.
Greg Stillson Happy Meals.
The toy inside was a Greg Stillson button.
Right? Yeah, you can get a Greg Stillson phone. You can get a nuclear launch button. You can get a small child as a shield. All kinds of.
It's all right there. Yep. Yeah, to go with your Grimace milkshake.
Shamrock shakes. All right, well, I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you wake up the plot.
Yeah. Well, before we jump into the plot, it should also be noted that this is a Dino De Laurentiis production.
It is. And I've mentioned before on the show how much I enjoy when I see Dino De Laurentiis' name on the screen, I get
Oh, yeah. We're in for a good time. We're in for a good time when Dino's producing
Conan the Barbarian with Sparkles, Dino De Laurentiis. It's like, yes!
Yep. Evil Dead 2.
Yep. Gotta love Dino De Laurentiis.
Yep. I think the third movie in this month is also a De Laurentiis production as well.
It has to be. So, but yeah, another quick aside here. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I really enjoyed the episode of Saturday Night Live when Christopher Walken was on and they parodied this movie. Because I don't think I've seen that. Oh, it's very funny because everybody would they'd come and shake his hand or whatever, and he would just do that. He'd snap.
I'm gonna find it and watch it after we're done here.
It's very funny just because of the point of the show now. But I remember it. I don't remember the whole premise of what it was, but I'm thinking it was just like one of the cold opens where Walken is walking around backstage and everybody's just greeting him, but he's having that dead zone look as he's been telling them something that he's done that they've done recently or they're going to be doing.
I just found it. It's called Ed Glosser, Trivial Psychic.
Okay. Yeah,
limited usefulness. So I'm assuming he has psychic powers, but it's only for the mundane.
Probably. So, but no, that's a fun one. If you guys check that one out. So, all right, now I'm gonna shut up. Get to the plot.
Also, Cronenberg directed this as well.
You need to quit. You need to quit with that stuff because I'm gonna have to change one.
And by Cronenberg, I meant George Cronenberg.
You meant Cynthia Cronenberg, the main love interest in Night of the Creeps.
There you go. Moving on to the plot of the Dead Zone. Hint taken, Oz. So we get a fun opening scene there. I love how slowly the Dead Zone title fades into the screen. Like it takes an eternity to get there.
Well, it's like reminiscent of the title of Alien. Like, not that it looks the same, but you're not sure what you're seeing until it's fully there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so fun little image there. We get some kind of rural, rural life there.
Yeah.
It's a small town kind of thing. Johnny Smith, Chris Walken. He's a middle school teacher, I think he's like a middle school English teacher. He's reading The Raven to his students and encourages them to read about the Headless Horseman. Little foreshadowing further into Chris Walken's
I got a
career.
kick out of that too. I'm like, Chris Walken, you may see your teacher in this adaptation.
Hey, keep watching it 16 years. That's my Chris Walken, by the way.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. He and fellow teacher Sarah, played by Brooke Adams of the Pod People, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Yep. They openly flirt in the hallway. I love. They're just flirting with each other right there, like surrounded by 12-year-olds.
Right. She's like wanting to go like almost all the way right there in the hallway.
There's a janitor's closet just down the hall. Cut to them on a roller coaster, and we get that striking musical cue on the roller coaster. He holds his head, looks concerned. Yes, Oz?
Cut to them by themselves on the roller coaster. Like we're just. Did you guys catch a coaster at lunch? Sat down for a corn dog and a ride.
We got a 45-minute lunch. It's a good thing this amusement park's right next to the school.
She wants to make out real bad, and he's like, "Let's go sit front row of the roller coaster."
I got a different kind of thrill in mind.
That's right. Well, I'd like to think that he's seen Mark Wahlberg's Fear, and that's he wanted to reenact the roller coaster ride in that movie.
Hey, Mr. Walken. Mr. Walken.
Hey, Mr. Walken.
I'd like to think that maybe that roller coaster, they just have a really, really nice playground at the school.
It's a private school.
It is. It's a private charter school.
Right.
They have their own amusement park level playground.
We do not believe in jungle gyms. We do not believe in monkey bars. We believe in the Screaming Eagle.
Yeah. Also, the nickname of the school mascot as well.
Screaming Eagle.
The Screaming Eagle. Oh, so yeah, they're flirting. They go on the roller coaster. He drops her off. She asks him to stay the night. As you said, she's very amorous with him.
Multiple times asks him to stay the night. And I can't tell. Are they engaged?
I don't think it's ever explicitly stated, but I mean,
because he walks to the car, she runs after him, and then they like kiss, and then he just goes, "I'm gonna marry you," and she goes, "You better." Yeah. So I mean, whether they're engaged or not, they're clearly devoted.
They're planning it.
Yeah, they're devoted.
Clearly a long-term relationship.
Yep.
Some things are worth waiting for.
Temporarily.
Yeah. And 29 years later, or I think it was 29 years later, Olaf uses that line in Frozen.
Yes. So,
I'd like to think that Olaf is just a big Christopher Walken fan.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that Disney Studios were inspired by this Cronenberg film.
Mm-hmm. Some things are worth waiting for, like being amorous with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
As he walks away again, she runs out. "I'm crazy about you." While driving home, he hits a semi filled with milk.
He just like clips it,
almost gets away from it, but the passenger side of his car clips this gigantic milk tanker,
and it just like
milk everywhere.
It just opens, and it wasn't even full of milk.
No, it was like trickling out.
I
felt disappointed.
I was waiting for like a tidal wave of 2%, and it didn't come.
No, I wanted like a gush.
Right. I think
it was a trickle.
Well, I think he probably already had his milk delivery, and so this was just like the leftover milk that wouldn't go into the pump.
It's what they did is they took that milk tanker and they just put the little cartons of milk inside of it.
They're on their way. They're actually probably on their way to the school.
Yeah. It's easier to ship that way.
Restock their cafeteria milk.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't put them on pallets. They just gently place them inside of the tanker.
Why they chose a round oval tanker for how
You don't understand logistics in shipping, guys.
This was the 80s. They haven't.
Yeah, that's right.
Out yet.
Yeah, go back for your supply chain management degree.
Right.
Then come back and talk to me. So he hits this milk tanker, which we're laughing at because we're jerks.
Nah, we're not.
And he's hospitalized. Yeah. Sarah visits him. He's comatose. He's in the hospital. She's crying. Don't leave me. We're gonna get married. He awakens Oz at the is it Weizak? Is that how you pronounce it? Weizak. Yeah. At the Weizak clinic. Dr. Weizak is there waiting for him to wake up. His parents are there. Weizak tells them that he's been in a coma for 5 years.
Yeah. Why didn't they Rip Van Winkle him? Like,
fingernails and a big long scraggly beard.
He was very clean shaven. He'd had a haircut, and it's like, oh man, Rip Van Winkle him. Like, why not? Then you don't have to tell him. It'll be evident that he woke up years later.
Yeah, you keep opening his wounds back up so they don't scar over and heal.
He looks in the mirror and he looks like Pai Mei.
He's doing the thing with his beard.
Why am I doing this? But it's just natural.
Oh, Mom kind of comes across as a religious whack job.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not in my bads, but that was one that kind of got me. Is like, Mom and Dad don't seem like they're overly compatible.
Yeah.
Like, unless she makes a good stew or a pie or something, it just seems like they just don't seem. Unless she went way off the deep end when he went to his coma.
Maybe it could be. Yeah, she makes a great strawberry rhubarb pie.
Can't stand her religious beliefs. Oh boy,
no.
you don't
that strawberry rhubarb. Oh doggy. Mom tells Johnny about Sarah. She's turned her back on you.
Yeah.
That's a great quote. She cleaves now unto another man, her husband.
Oh man, it's like
I gotta start using that word.
Experienced.
Yeah, that's right. She's experienced. And Johnny is despondent. Poor Johnny. Later, a nurse comes in to check on him as he sleeps, and he immediately snaps to.
Yeah.
Grabs her arm and dramatically sits up, startling her, and he is just oozing sweat. Oz.
Yeah. Well, it's where his astral self is.
Yeah, it's basically he's on the astral plane with Professor Xavier and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, they're showing him around.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken, Doctor Strange, and Charles Xavier walk into a bar.
Bartender says, "Why the long face?" He looks over and sees a vision of a screaming, terrified little girl in her bedroom. She's backed into a corner from a fire, and Johnny says out loud, "Amy," which immediately gets the nurse's attention.
Yeah.
She says, that's my daughter's name. And he looks at her and says, she could still be saved. Go. And so it cut to the nurse running up to a burning house and a firefighter carrying Amy out.
Yeah. He did it.
He did, yeah. Harrowing stuff there, Oz.
I like to think that the nurse sprinted from his room straight to the house nonstop, just huffing it.
Yeah.
Right, she ran right past her car that was already running the door open.
And was already in motion. She just had to hop in.
Most people will do a barrel roll out of a car. She could have barrel rolled into it. Nope.
Well, I mean, just like the amusement park was at the school, her house is literally next door.
Yeah, I mean, she T-1000 herself to the.
Doot.
You see this girl?
She clamps onto the back of the house and crawls her way up.
It's like this coma hospital nurse. Skunk.
The house shakes her off.
Eddie Furlong's in the car.
He's there. Not 12-year-old Eddie Furlong, old fat Eddie Furlong is there.
Like modern day Eddie Furlong.
Yes, yeah, modern Eddie Furlong. He's got a beef jerky in hand. Later, Johnny talks with the doctor. While shaking his hand, he experiences a vision of a battle from World War II.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Oh, yeah.
It took me a moment while watching this to kind of wrap my mind around what was happening here. He tells the doctor the wolf is loose as he watches a woman speaking Polish put a boy on a cart to save him, and he says that the boy's safe. And then he turns to the doctor and says, she's alive. That boy was the doctor,
Yeah.
so that was his past. And this whole time, the doctor thought that that his mother had passed away, had died, in this battle. Turns out she's alive, and he called her. Didn't talk to her. He couldn't work up the nerve to actually talk to her, but he confirmed that she's alive. So the doctor basically has figured out that you've got psychic powers now, Johnny.
You've got the sight.
Then pulls out a machete.
Exactly. Zengaya.
Then he and his pal Magneto built a room.
Right, with their minds.
Johnny's working on physical therapy as Sarah arrives. She says the town is talking about his gift of second sight. It's in the papers. Extra, extra. Johnny's got the sight.
Right. Yeah, she comes in with her newsboy cap on.
I thought that outfit was a little odd for her.
It was
at this
weird.
moment, but yeah. she charged him a nickel to talk.
She wouldn't tell him what was in the paper. Later.
Nope.
You're in the papers. What do they say? That'll be a nickel.
That's 5 cents, mister. Johnny wants to get ahead of all this press and actually holds a press conference. A plucky reporter asks Johnny about the results of an upcoming election and tells Johnny to hold his hand. Johnny gets very aggressive with him.
Yeah, he does.
So this press conference turns sideways really fast. Johnny starts dropping F-bombs. Yeah.
It was odd. I mean, granted, I've never been to a press conference, but it just feels odd that you've got this bank of reporters and this guy's the only one allowed to talk. Nobody else has got their hand up. Nobody else is. It just felt obviously it was staged because it's a movie, but it was like nobody was even attempting to ask a question or get any information except
this cynical reporter.
Yeah, Billy Cool Guy over here.
Hey, hold my hand, Mr. Psychic.
Pops his collar before he asked the question.
Puts his sunglasses
Yeah.
on. Sheriff Bannerman, Tom Skerritt himself, visits Johnny and Herb with Johnny's father, asks if he can help solve the Castle Rock murders. Again, Castle Rock, the small town there that the Sheriff Bannerman oversees. Johnny becomes upset with when Bannerman suggests that he used the gift that God blessed him with.
Yeah.
Johnny was not happy at that insinuation.
No.
You think this is a blessing?
Yeah.
Later, Sarah brings her 10-month-old son, Denny, by to visit with Johnny. After Denny falls asleep, Sarah says, last time we saw each other, you said some things are worth waiting for. Haven't we waited enough?
And then
So
they went back to the amusement park now.
they went back for another ride on the
He
roller
gets
coaster.
really confused with all this sexual innuendo aggression stuff. He's like, okay, let's go.
I saved the seats of the Screaming Eagle.
Put your hands up, Sarah.
I said put them up.
Don't touch me.
He's got cotton candy in his hand. So yes, they share an intimate moment as they eat dinner with Herb, and as she leaves, she asks if she says we can't see each other again.
Yeah, because Johnny's all smiles now.
Yeah,
He's like,
he's on top of the world.
Finally, finally it's happened. And she's like,
Yep.
yeah, this isn't happening again.
The Price is Right plays behind him.
And then she pushes him over in the snow.
She gives him a whitewash.
She trips his crutch.
Johnny then later, I was watching TV, sees Bannerman on the news asking the public for help with the killer. There's been 9 victims,
Yeah.
all young women.
Well, it's Stephen
Uh,
King universe, so
yeah, that's
Bannerman.
exactly.
You think Bannerman realizes that he's the sheriff in a Stephen King town?
Well, I mean, there's got to be somebody with supernatural powers.
He's
I'm
like,
in
oh,
Maine.
the high school blew up last week, and this car's killed a bunch of people. And like, oh,
There's a guy with an axe.
no, it's right. There's some clown dragging people into the drains. Like,
Blood in every
I don't know
elevator.
why I ran for this office. The game shows are killing people these days.
Johnny decides to help it. The victims were all raped and stabbed. Bannerman takes Johnny to a tunnel where the latest killing happened. He touches a cigarette pack that the killer had held, but Johnny gets no psychic response.
Right.
While he's there, Bannerman gets a call on the radio. They found another body, Oz, so this is happening pretty frequently. Bannerman, Deputy Dodd, the young guy on the staff, and Johnny go to the site, a gazebo. Dodd recognizes the girl. There's also, I'm going to jump in here, there's a reference to a Coffee Pot Cafe. There was, in Bangor, there was a sandwich shop called the Coffee Pot Sandwich Shop.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
So I heard that. It's like, ah, that's a Stephen King local reference.
Yes, it is.
Johnny touches the hand of this deceased girl, and he jumps in fright. You know, there's veins in his forehead. Flashes back to earlier in the day, and a man calls to this girl, Alma, from the gazebo. She knows him. Johnny is sort of there, like you
Yeah.
know, as like a third party present, watching over anything. This killer just punches Alma, just knocks her out. Then he rips her shirt open, takes out a pair of barber scissors. And Johnny sees the killer's face as, it's Deputy Dodd!
No.
After telling Bannerman about Dodd, Dodd takes off in the sheriff's patrol car. Go ahead.
No, that was just it. I was going to be like, does Dodd stick around the scene?
No, he hightails it out of there.
That's I mean, that's pretty gutsy. You know, granted, he knows he's kind of covered his tracks, but like, he's on the scene for all of his own murders.
Yeah.
You know, it's like nobody's going to suspect me. I'm here.
Bannerman and Johnny then go to Dodd's house, see the car outside. Johnny sees Dodd in the window, so he's there. Dodd's panicked mother insists he isn't there. Bannerman enters anyways. Johnny takes Dodd's mother's hand. He just turns on her and says, "You knew." She calls him the devil sent from hell.
You're the devil. Not my son who's been raping and murdering. You're the devil.
You're the devil. I don't know why I just went Jim Ross there. The devil.
That's all right. I went Bobby Boucher. So
You go Bobby Boucher, I go Jim Ross.
he's not the devil, Mama.
That deformed man! Cain!
Lord.
Sent from hell, that demon!
It's Cain.
It's Cain! That's so stupid. Dodd locks himself in the bathroom, and Oz, he takes these scissors and somehow kind of like affixes them to the counter.
Yeah, this is gross.
Puts his hand behind his head. You don't see it.
No.
But he puts his hands behind his head, opens his mouth over the scissors.
Yeah.
Then cuts to Bannerman kicking the bathroom door in to find Dodd dead in the bathtub with his scissors through his mouth and throat.
Yeah, he's like still twitching.
Yeah. So he literally put his hands behind his head
Headbutt
and
scissors.
forcefully open his mouth and shove the scissors through the back of his throat.
Much like the street punk in Dead Alive last week.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Only he wasn't eating a spoonful
That's
of
true.
porridge
Yeah,
or whatever.
like God died. He wasn't already dead. So
Yeah. Mama Dodd grabs her son's police gun, shoots Johnny. Bannerman then puts a round through the mother, killing her. We then get a time jump, Oz. So that's kind of wrapping up. What was that, like Act 2?
yeah,
So Act 1 is like the accident
Yeah.
and the establishing of the powers and the hospital and all that.
Right.
Act 2, again, is this sequence with
the murders.
Yeah, with the murders and all that. So we then begin Act 3 here, Oz. Again, a series of 3 short stories. Time jump as the doctor then tracks Johnny down in his new home. He's a private tutor. Johnny reveals the bullet went right through him, left no damage, so he kind of lucked out there.
He was only in a coma for 3 years.
Yeah, just 3 years.
Feel great.
Yeah. Next time I'm in some kind of tragic accident, it'll only be a year and a half.
Right, just knocking time off for good behavior.
He tells Weezak he's struggling. I get headaches 4 times a day. I'm getting worse. The doctor says he's done some research. This has happened to others before, and as the powers grow, the body weakens.
He calls it The Shining. This little boy in Oregon had it. His name was Danny something.
Johnny refuses to go back to the clinic. I'm going to work it out. Later, a man named Roger comes by, begs Johnny to tutor his quiet son Chris, who's got school refusal issues as his home, but Johnny begrudgingly agrees to it. Cut to Greg Stillson, played by Martin Sheen, Oz, a Senate candidate, cajoling with Roger, the father of this boy, as Johnny enters and goes to shake Stillson's hand. Stillson then hands him a campaign button.
Yeah, like misses the hand-to-hand contact.
Yes. So again, Stillson is your consummate politician.
Yep.
He's always on stage wherever he's at.
Yeah.
Stillson jokes, but not really, that he needs Roger's money. Johnny then connects with Chris, the little boy. Again, in a matter of minutes, they're connecting. They're walking outside. As Roger looks out and like, oh, I don't know how you did it. It's like, maybe you spent some time with the boy.
Talk to your son like a human.
Yeah. Johnny watches a Stillson campaign ad with Roger. Roger calls Stillson dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And a turkey.
Yeah. Turkeys are dangerous.
They are.
People choke probably every Thanksgiving.
Not on turkey. On stuffing.
Right. Right. It's turkey's fault.
Yeah, the turkey was egging him on.
Get him. Get him.
That stovetop will get you.
Every time.
That night, Stillson and his bodyguard Sonny wait for Brenner, who's a local journalist, in his office. Sonny pushes Brenner around. Stillson said, "I've had a vision of becoming president." Brenner is about to publish an editorial slamming Stillson. Stillson then blackmails Brenner, who has pictures of him out in the town with a young woman who's not his wife. The next day, Johnny is tutoring Chris at home, and let's see, a Stillson campaign worker comes to the door. The worker yells for his wife to come get Johnny some campaign literature, and that person's wife is Sarah.
Aww.
Now here's Sarah reappearing in action.
She comes walking up. Hey, Johnny. And he's probably like, I want to be away from here right now.
I so want to be in another coma.
Oh my gosh. There's only 2 things I want to do. Ride a roller coaster or be in a coma.
Where's there a milk tanker when I need
Good
one?
Lord. About this time when Donnie Darko's right into his living room.
Just instead of a jet engine, a milk tanker just falls through the ceiling.
And it's still empty.
Echo of the Bunnyman is playing at the same time. The husband says, "I heard a lot about you, Johnny." Tells him to remember who to vote for at election day. Puts his arm around Sarah's back as they walk away from the house. An insecure creep.
Heard a lot about you, John. Well, I mean, if I married my wife and then she spent the first 3 to 4 years of our relationship talking about her ex-boyfriend, I'd probably be a little bit like, yeah, I get it.
I'm also here, and I didn't hit a milk tank.
Right. I survived it. I can drive.
I only had my side mirror knocked off by the milk tanker.
And the milk tank was 3/4 full, thank you very much.
It was whole milk.
Right.
Not that 2%.
It was a real heavy truck. It was whole.
Extra cream.
Probably half and half.
and you I'm lactose intolerant.
Right. It was really hard for me.
Johnny cries after he closes the door. Chris is there. He's wondering why he's crying. Johnny and Chris goes to hug Johnny hugs Chris. Yeah. He then has a vision because he's making skin contact with Chris of Chris in hockey gear plunging through water, followed by others as well. Very eerie sequence, Oz. Yeah. Again, at the beginning, you're not quite sure what's going on, and then it's these kids falling through ice,
just like Lionel's flashbacks in Dead Alive last week.
Uh-huh.
Just like it.
Just like
You
it.
don't know what's happening until it starts to unveil itself.
Lionel. W-L-W-L.
Just like it.
Exactly like it. Johnny then takes Chris home, and he sees that his dad, Roger, is organizing a youth hockey team.
Yeah.
Wonder where this is going.
I don't know.
Johnny tells him, stop, they're going to fall through. He just says it.
Yeah.
They're gonna fall through the pond. And Roger says, I know who you are, but I still don't believe you. I did my research. I'm not stupid.
Right.
Johnny then breaks a vase with his cane and just says, the ice is gonna break. Roger ends up calling off the practice, but after Johnny leaves, he tells Chris, yeah, we're still practicing. I just said that to get him to go away. Yeah. Johnny takes Chris's hand one more time later on, as before he left. He said no, he didn't have a vision that time, so he believes Chris's sake. A couple of days later, Johnny picks up a newspaper, sees a headline that 2 kids drowned in a skating accident.
Yeah.
He calls Roger, who intentionally doesn't pick up the phone. He's just kind of sitting in a chair in a stupor. Chris answers and knows it's Johnny. So he still held the practice. He didn't make his son do it, but he still held the practice, and 2 kids died. Cut to a band playing at a Stillson campaign event. As we're hitting the big climax here, right outside of Johnny's place, because everything with Stillson happens right outside of Johnny's place.
There's only 3 communities in Maine.
And one of them doesn't exist.
Where's he supposed to go?
Augusta, Bangor, and Castle Rock.
Yeah. So you go to the one that's not really there.
Yeah.
You didn't have to get permits that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Permits. Just like last week, Get Dead Alive.
Yeah.
Wrong kid died. Oh, I probably shouldn't have dropped that joke after a bunch of kids died in a hockey accident. The wrong kid died.
Oh, you're such a cruel, evil person.
Hey, we said it. We were really going to peel back on this next 100.
Yeah, we are. It's all on the table now. We've survived 100.
Boobs.
Wiener. It's all out there now, folks.
YouTube, I'm going to have to mark not intended for kids.
Uh-oh.
I do anyway.
Boobs and wiener. So Johnny looks out the window, sees Sarah and her husband pull up to this campaign event. Johnny goes outside to the event to look for Sarah. And of course, Stillson's, in his politician mode, he's, shaking hands and kissing babies. Ends up, Johnny and Stillson just kind of bump into each other, and Stillson just, naturally reaches out his hand to shake it. And Johnny shakes it back, and Johnny sees a vision of Stillson in front of a presidential seal screaming at a man, "Scan your hand into the device." The man eventually relents and asks God to forgive him, and you hear somebody say, "Complete the sequence, Mr. President." Stillson then says, "My destiny," and presses a button and tells the vice president, who has just arrived, the missiles are flying. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Yippee-ki.
So Johnny now realizes that if nothing happens, Stillson is going to start World War III.
Yeah. On purpose.
Yes. So Stillson kind of notices something's up, rips his hand away from Johnny. A couple of days later, Johnny asks the doctor, if you could go back to Germany and kill Hitler, would you? And the doctor basically says, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
knowing then what I know now.
Yes, exactly. Johnny also tells the doctor about, the vision with Chris, and there was a blank spot, to which the doctor says, here comes your favorite thing, Oz, it's a dead zone.
Yep. We'll just leave it there. It may come back. We'll just leave it.
Okay. I didn't say that. I've not said several things.
I'm pretty sure my movie notes are not a shared document. I'll have to double check.
Maybe I've got The Shining.
You might.
And the dead zone.
Yeah. It's a bright dead zone.
It is. It's quite bright. Cut to Johnny preparing a rifle. riding a bus. I would have loved it had he had like the rifle just open, like slung over his shoulder, or just like sitting in his lap.
Like the bride and her katana on the airplane.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sitting in the seat next
It's
to her.
totally fine.
Yeah,
It's sheathed. It's
yeah.
fine.
I paid for the seat.
Right, you can't take it.
He's narrating a letter that he's writing to Sarah. By the time you get this letter, it's going to be all over. I know what I'm doing. I'll always love you, Sarah. Johnny. He breaks into a venue where Stillson is going to speak, hides in a balcony, loads the rifle. Sarah, of course, is there with her husband, this lobbyist. Stillson invites Sarah and the baby Denny up on stage. Because, again, he's not one to miss an opportunity.
No, there's a baby here, and I'm a politician.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So Johnny then stands as this event starts, aims at Stillson. Sarah sees him, calls his name, which distracts him enough. He misses the shot. Stillson then grabs Sarah's baby and holds the baby in front of him like a shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sonny, the bodyguard, shoots Johnny in the hand, causing him to drop the gun and not get another shot off. Sonny then shoots Johnny right through the chest. Johnny falls from the balcony, tearing an American flag bunting with him as he goes. Stillson runs over to the dying Johnny and screams, "Who sent you?" And with his bullet-wounded hand, Johnny grabs Stillson's hand and sees a vision of Stillson taking a gun off of a copy of Newsweek. And the cover of Newsweek has a picture of Stillson holding the baby and a headline of "No Future for Stillson."
Yeah.
Stillson then puts the gun under his chin. The camera goes back to the magazine, and you hear the shot, and you see the blood splatter across. So, Johnny says it's over. As Stillson yells at Sonny, "Find the kid taking pictures." So, Johnny just averted World War III.
Well, and Sonny even looks at him and he goes, "I didn't see anyone." Like Sonny had I got the vibe that Sonny had a change too, because after seeing what Stillson was doing, he's, "Go get that camera." He's like, "I didn't see anybody." Like, no.
I didn't see nothing.
Right. You can't make me.
Sarah then holds Johnny as he tells her goodbye, and she whispers back, "I love you." I admit, I got a little misty there.
Yeah.
Johnny dies as Sarah holds him and cries. Cut to credits.
Yep.
Oz. The ending of this movie reminded me kind of like, I almost put an American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
In there just for that super bleak ending.
Yeah.
The character dying, held in the arms by someone who loves them, and then the credits just roll.
Right. Yeah, that would have been fitting.
Yeah. So, yeah, that, folks, is 1983's The Dead Zone. 40 years old, Oz. All right, hey, folks, at this point in the show, Oz and I each give our own unique rating to the film in question, The Dead Zone. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this 7 Dinos.
7 Dinos.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go with 5 years in a coma.
Okay. 8 heads in a duffel bag.
There you go. Things to do in Denver when you're dead.
3 men in a pizza place. Or 3 men and a baby, and I don't know.
I like it. It's the crossover of was it like 2 guys, a girl at a pizza place, and 3 men and a baby.
3 men in a pizza place. It's still Gutenberg dancing and selling.
two Gutenbergs dancing in a pizza place.
That's what the menu is. It's like, I get a large Gutenberg and a side of Felix.
Hold the mustache
and
dip. glass of dancing. Maybe some Steenbergen for dessert.
There you go.
All right, folks, next up is Outside Insights. Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs, searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well. Oz, what is your Outside Insight?
I have a 1-star review by Mimi. Left October 8th of 2020. She says, very briefly, "It was cool until everything it had happened." She must have liked the title.
She also really loved that title sequence. That title card was great. Everything after the title card was
goes straight from opening credits to end credits.
Man, what a powerful flick.
Wow.
It had me at the title card.
I feel like I was in a coma for an hour and a half. It was cool until everything in it happened.
Until everything happened.
Thanks, Mimi. What's your Outside Insight?
My outside insight comes from Vector from the Internet Movie Database, left in July 2021, so just a couple years old as of the time of this recording. The title is "Boring as He Hockey Sticks." There, I don't even know why this film got a good score like that until I watched it. It's absolutely overrated. Boring as He Hockey Sticks. That made me need to pause 10 times to watch the entire movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Notch him up on his pausometer.
Yep. I couldn't get through it unless I paused it no less than 10
every time I
times.
pause it, it loses a star.
Uh-huh. Overrated. Pause.
Yawn. Pause.
Pause.
He's still in a coma. Pause.
I got another one that
Yeah.
I'll share here as well. This one is a 6 out of 10
Ooh.
from the Internet Movie Database. This is Rare Medium from Curiosity Killed Sean, left in April 2020.
Okay.
To be Sean. This one, it's a little lengthy, but bear with me here. This person is a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Let's put it that
Okay.
way. There's something else lurking in the background, perhaps some intentional psychology trickery by David Cronenberg. In 3 different scenes, there is a picture of a sailboat. In the movie Brainstorm, Walken starred alongside Natalie Wood, an actress who mysteriously drowned in 1981 in circumstances that are still not fully understood to this day. Though her husband, Robert Wagner, took a lot of the heat for this accident, who was their guest on the yacht the night she died? Christopher Walken.
Oh.
Am I reading too much into this, or were those yacht pictures put there intentionally?
Well, I'm sure they were put there intentionally. That's what set designers do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, probably. You
Yep.
probably also got a kick out of the Apollo 13 sweater that Danny Lloyd wore in Shining.
Yep.
It
It was all moon landing.
It's Kubrick's moon landing in your
Uh-huh.
face.
Uh-huh. Shot at a studio on a backlot in Hollywood.
Next on TMZ, we've got Travis Kelch and Taylor Swift.
Followed by the JFK assassination. Grassy Knoll or T Swift?
Where was Taylor Swift the day Kennedy was shot?
Bum, bum, bum. So yeah, the conspiracy theorist there sharing their conspiracy theory on the user reviews for IMDb.
I will give conspiracy theorists this. They're good writers.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you could tell that even though they're a little off, like, they have fully formed their thoughts and they've put, I mean, they're the ones that you seem to see online. They seem to be decent writers,
Mhm.
like, because if they were just like, it was fake. Like, nobody did it. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be well written. So thanks for
They gotta be in Comp 101 at the
true.
local community
They did.
college.
Hey, at least they took a college class.
That's true. Here's to your future, kids. All right, folks, it's that time of the show you've all been waiting for, our signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the film in question, The Dead Zone. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first one is the behind-the-scenes team: Stephen King, David Cronenberg, Jeffrey Hill, Dino De Laurentiis. Like,
some heavy hitters in this movie.
Yeah. Even if Cronenberg felt a little director for hire in this one, because he didn't. I mean, it was a fun movie. Like, I really enjoy this movie, but when he didn't lean into that Cronenberg of like,
yeah. I almost, in some of my outside insights, as I was scouring through the Internet Movie Database, there was several I ran across who were like, yeah, but there's no body horror.
Right,
Come on,
yeah.
Cronenberg. Like, who cares?
Right,
That's
but
not
it's
the story being
but
told.
that I think says a lot about Cronenberg as a director. Is that like he that's not what he can survive in. Like, he could still back out and direct a film. Like, he doesn't have to have like VCRs in your armpit and stuff like that. It'll still work. So that's my first good. Is that behind?
I think that was a Blondie song also by Debbie
VCRs
Harry.
in your armpit.
VCRs in your armpit.
It's a good one. It's B-side.
I almost tried singing it out loud to the tune of Rapture.
Oh, I had it in my head as hanging on the telephone.
VCRs in your armpit.
My second good is pre-caricature Christopher Walken.
Oh my God!
Great.
You just stole one of my goods, almost verbatim.
There you go. See, two could play this
Yeah,
game.
I know, right? Yeah, this reciprocal good
You
stealing.
do 100 episodes with a guy, and you think you know him. Yeah, pre-caricature Walken, it's just fantastic. Like,
Yeah, he was great in this.
I mean, he still had the little mannerisms that make him what he is, but it wasn't so, like, it wasn't character defining, like seemingly everything else recently he's done.
Yeah, the only time where I felt like he was kind of like the Christopher Walken we know is when he breaks that vase and goes, "They gotta fall through the ice."
Yeah, he just really pauses between a syllable.
Yeah.
But
when he breaks the vase and goes, "What we need is more cowbell."
Right.
And then he started dancing on this. Then he started dancing on the ceiling to Fatboy Slim.
Exactly. My third good is titular line.
Titular line.
I love it. It's kind of a dead zone. Like, yes, you said it.
These Star Wars.
Man, if I could just get out of Africa.
So many Hoosiers in Indiana.
Man. What's that bus gonna do? Speed? Oh, titular lines. I love them.
Yeah, I love my miniatures. You love your titular
I do.
lines.
I love a titular line.
This is hysterical, by the way. Episode 101, folks, where we are stealing each other's goods. Very specific ones. And I literally had the word caricature. Like, I'm going to read you exactly what mine was going to be. Christopher Walken could act before he became a caricature of himself.
Yeah. Well,
that is literally what my note is.
And you dropped my other two goods throughout. So of the behind the scenes crew and the titular line. So there we go.
Yeah.
What are your other two goods then?
My other two goods. Let's see. First of all, my first good, I really like just the very, very beginning, the first couple of minutes, them flirting in the hallways, like the roller coaster, the scene in the rain. It was such a great job of establishing their relationship in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And you really didn't need to know more than that.
No.
Like, these are two people in love. They enjoy being with each other. He has a fondness for roller coasters.
He does. He's got a thing.
She's quite taken with him. But, yeah. So I just the first couple minutes it really pulled me to the movie and the relationship. My second, I also have titular line as one of my possible goods as well.
You're not allowed to take that. Ever.
No, ever again.
No, I don't take miniatures. You don't take titular line.
Okay, all right, so that's established now. I will never ever utter titular line again. My second good, I love how Johnny jumps when he sees the visions.
Yeah.
Like they hit him so unexpectedly and intensely, and it's like they frighten him.
Well, it's like,
and he's like jumping in fear.
Yeah, like he knows he's going to see something. Like I mean, after the first one or two, like he knows he's going to see something. But like you said, just it scares him every time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really liked. I thought that was just a great little piece of acting there by Christopher Walken. And I will add a third good here as well. The shot of when he gets shot right at the end and he's on the balcony, the bullet goes straight through him and breaks the light behind him. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
just a little extra touch there. Like, that was cool. All right, those are my three goods. Oz, what are your two bads?
Johnny's pre-coma haircut is my first one. Like, his coma barber was way better than his conscience barber.
Coma barber.
Well, he had bangs and this like bowl cut looking thing, and she still was smitten. So
yeah, she was.
So 5 years.
I mean, you need something aerodynamic for those roller coasters.
It's true. And fads change over the 5 years. Yeah. So
you got to get the haircut that when your hair's blowing in the wind, it catches you just right. So when you pass by that camera that takes your picture on the roller coaster, it's all about what your hair looks like at that moment.
That's true. And so his pre-coma haircut was bad.
I would have loved to see like the different haircuts over the years that they gave him in the hospital. Like they're bringing in people from like the local cosmetology school,
and they're all done like over the credits as like snapshots in a yearbook. But he's only coasting all of them.
He's got like a buzz cut. He's got
Dreadlocks.
dreadlocks.
Flat top going. Dreadlocks,
He's got
corduroys.
like the '90s grunge part down the
Yeah,
middle.
and they're playing some fun song like Holiday Road or something like that.
Holiday Road.
Just like the Polaroids, just kind of like
Yeah. He's got the Rachel from Friends.
you got Kate Goslin going.
He's got Taylor Swift bangs.
They
at
shaved
one
his
point.
head once.
They've got like the zigzags on the side.
Right. He's all comatose. He's got like a feeding tube in for all of them.
I shouldn't be laughing this hard.
Oh, his pre-comb haircut's my first bad. My second one is that there's not really a plot to this film.
No, there's not.
And it's like, that's nitpicky, but it's like it's one that if you don't have a ton of time, you could, like, we kind of tease your outside insight reviewer, but you could pause this throughout the movie and pick it up later. Like, you're not you're not going to miss out on a story. So that's my only one, is that just there isn't just much of a plot. Some of the reviews I read, and I've not read the book The Dead Zone, but I guess the book is just fantastic. That this movie kind of butchered it. Like, there was so much more he did in the book that they didn't include in the movie. But again, if everything in the book felt kind of episodic, you can't take them all, and so they took what they took. So that's my second bad, is it just didn't feel like there's much of a plot outside of let's follow Johnny.
Yeah, I get that.
So what do you got?
I'll start with one that would have been a bad had you not stolen my other good. I literally had the same line for a bad as I did for the good. Christopher Walken could act before he became a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
So the good being he could act, the bad being now he's a caricature.
Exactly. Yeah.
So my first bad is the scene with Stillson and Brenner, the newspaper guy, felt kind of out of place.
Very much so.
Like, it was really the only scene that didn't have Johnny in it.
Right, and I agree.
Yeah.
We established. I felt like the conversation with Roger established we shouldn't trust Stillson anyway.
Yeah, that he's a power hungry scumbag.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they had to showcase that, and it just felt like you're running for state senator. Like, you have the, I don't know. It just felt like he had keys to things that he wouldn't necessarily have keys to as a candidate.
Yeah, so that's my first one, is like just that scene. I understand what it was supposed to do, but it kind of took me out of the moment.
Right.
My second bad, let's go with did Roger ever try talking to his son? Like he's so quiet and reserved, and he refuses to go to school. Like, have you tried talking to him,
right,
or like spending time with him? Because it worked for Johnny.
Yeah, it didn't get along at all.
So yeah, talk to your kids, folks. It does wonders. So yeah, that's my second bad. So hey, Oz, what's your one?
What does Stephen King have against semi trucks? You've got Pet Cemetery semi killing a kid, Dead Zone semi involvement, Road Rage as a novel is about a semi driver. The only movie he directed, Maximum Overdrive,
is all about semis.
All about, like, what does Stephen King have against semi drivers? Other than the fact maybe because you lives in Maine, you don't get the cross country truckers because you're kind of stuck. But yeah, that's my What does Stephen King have against semis? What do you got?
I'm going to throw a couple runners up here. First one is Johnny's a private tutor. How did he afford that gigantic new house? When he's giving like kids English lessons one at a time.
He played the lotto.
He shook the hand of the guy behind the counter at the gas station. So that's my first fake. I'll throw another one in there. How long was the doctor waiting there for Johnny to wake up?
Yeah. It's like he wakes up and the doctor's like, "You're awake." Got any other patients, Doc?
Nope, just you. I just come in here and stare at you for hours on end, waiting for you to wake up.
I'm not even really a doctor. I'm your barber.
That high top fade you got, that's all me.
That's me. You're
That's
welcome.
me. Yeah. There's those cornrows. That's me.
Tied them myself.
Uh, that Jerry curl, me.
Makes your soul glow.
So my actual what kind of middle-aged teacher goes by Johnny?
Yeah.
I do understand. Again, I also have not read the book. That I guess the character is younger
Oh,
in the book, like more like early 20s as opposed to probably close to 40 or so in this movie. But still, like he's a working professional. Like go by John.
Johnny Knoxville's older than we are.
Yeah, but he's still kind of a teenager in a lot of ways.
That's true.
It's kind of like Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
like you're Scott. You're 58 years old.
You're Scott Pippen.
Scott Pippen.
Or as I told my
son,
I tried to convince my son when he was playing 2K, when he pulled him as a good card, Scottie Pippen. I go, it's pronounced Skotai Pipin. So then we just started calling him Skotai Pipin all the time.
Skotai Pipin.
Skotai Pipin.
Yeah, it's an Irish
pronunciation. It's foreign, like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I think that Irish background, Shaquille O'Neal.
Right, he's an Irishman.
So yeah, you're like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Just go by John.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, it's it's like he's been in a middle-age crisis his whole life.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah. So that's my and
enough.
Folks, that's the Dead Zone.
Dead Zone. We're back next week with another Stephen King hit. We are going to go from one horror director in David Cronenberg over to John Carpenter.
Yeah,
And I don't think we've covered a Carpenter film in quite a while.
Since our debut month.
Was our debut month? Yeah, we're going to cover Christine.
That we are.
We are this time. The the vehicle that causes all the trouble is our main character, as opposed to a milk truck.
The titular.
Right. Titular character.
Titular character.
And they use miniature cars in the movie.
How dare you?
Yeah, you're welcome. We're going to cover Christine, starring that guy and the other one and her.
Yeah.
And
Harry Dean Stanton.
And Harry Dean Stanton. Yeah.
Well, and what's her name for Baywatch? Wasn't she on Baywatch?
Yeah, she was on Baywatch. Paul? I can't remember her name. And we can't forget Kevin McAllister's neighbor from Home Alone.
That's right. Old Man Marley is there.
Yep, he's the old man that sells him the car. So
and Cougar from Top Gun.
Yeah,
is the best friend.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. I remember Top Gun, but I couldn't remember which one. So
yeah,
and we've got
Cougar,
and we've got Vinnie Barbarino's stunt double in here too.
I already watched this movie, and as I was taking my notes, he's just going to be Cougar to me the entire movie.
That's fair.
He's Cougar, and the old guy is Old Man Marley.
Old Man Marley and Cougar.
So yeah, yep.
So fair enough. And they're in a scene together. So yes, it's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Here we come.
6 degrees of Cougar.
It'd be a harder game to play, I think.
Yeah.
6 degrees of Cougar.
Cougar from Top Gun.
If you could bring it back to Top Gun, we win. So yeah, we will be back next week to cover Christine. What I want to do, I'm trying to do it a little bit better, is I want to share where they can stream the movies in case they want to watch. So you can catch Christine on, you can stream it on AMC Plus, or you can rent it on Apple TV. So there you go. It's available nowhere for free. You can also, you can rent it about anywhere. Apple TV, Amazon, Google, YouTube. I mean, it's everywhere there. But streaming-wise, AMC Plus is what
Family Video.
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Hollywood. Catch it at your local Hollywood Video.
Your local grocery store.
Yeah, that's right. Look, just before you get to the produce section, stop and rent the VHS of Christine. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I really like this movie.
It's fun.
It's one of those...
I forgot how fun this movie was.
Well, it's one of those, too, I think that, like, the premise shouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about that as I watched this. Like, this movie shouldn't work at all.
But then you gave it to John Carpenter.
Car. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, now it's actually kind of scary. So
yeah. Well, you take a premise that's kind of silly as this, but you put it in the right person's hands, and it can work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what we see here. as opposed to the following week where you take a silly premise and put it in a coked up director's hands and and see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will be back next week with Christine. Again, you can stream it on AMC Plus, rent it anywhere else, and social media wise, you can find us Facebook, Instagram, and X. I guess, formerly known as Twitter.
The platform formerly known as Twitter.
Of course, streaming on YouTube, your favorite podcast app. You can listen if you haven't already. There is a Patreon link down below if you want to be on the list. We're looking for new people. We're looking for team members for our Patreon list.
You're gonna be like Ted DiBiase and shell out some money.
Everyone's got a price. Yeah, our goal before we hit episode 200 is to have 2 episodes a week. One episode where we spend an hour just thanking our Patreon subscribers.
Yes.
And then
because it'll take that long.
Yeah, and then the second episode actually being the show. So but that's it for this week. Thanks for bringing the Dead Zone to the table. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I'm glad we did. First timer for you.
Movie.
And was it first time for you said? Yeah.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. So
yeah, I liked it. I really liked the Dead Zone.
It's good. And then don't forget to check out that Saturday Night Live sketch.
Yes, I will watch that before I go to bed.
Yeah, Christine is up for next week. So for Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
We'll see you guys next week.